Hello, people. Hope you're well. Thanks for tuning in again. I am going to do a short clip about going from objective reality, which is the world of the senses, the everyday world, the material world, to spiritual reality, the world of the imagination. And how I mean that is sometimes, for myself anyway, I get caught up in everyday life, as we all do, and caught up in negative emotions sometimes. And I was thinking maybe it would be helpful if I went through, when I'm not in the negative emotions, how do you deal with certain situations in objective reality, in an understanding way of what's actually going on, before we move to imagining what we really want. Because sometimes we can forget everything we've learnt about the spiritual life and just believe that the only thing that's real is what we can see in front of us, even though we know intellectually that's not true. But we get caught up in it in the moment. So how to bring our emotions down, deal with it on that level, and then take it to a high level. So before I start with that, just a few things about faith. If you haven't watched the clip by Neville Goddard, Faith is Loyalty to Unseen Reality, I highly recommend it. I highly recommend any clip that he has recorded, any talk of his, but that one is very good, very, very good. What does he mean, faith is loyalty to unseen reality? God has already created everything, so everything we can imagine already exists in the invisible. So what we're essentially doing when we're manifesting is that we are having faith that what we want already exists. And all we have to do to bring it into our world is to believe that. So we're not actually creating something new. We're having faith that it already exists. And our persistence in our faith is what actually brings it into our world. And that's when we have to bring in the assumption. We imagine what it feels like. We imagine the state that we want to occupy, the person we want to be. And we live in that state until the actual state manifests itself here. And we become that person. And so alongside the feeling of the wish fulfilled, this strong feeling, you're already that person you want to be. You've fulfilled your dream. There's also an assumption it's done. There's nothing else that needs to be done. You've got it. You have it somewhere in the future. You know you have manifested it through believing that you're already the person you want to be. So it's all about faith. And you need to just persist in that. You don't have to be imagining all the time, but you're just assuming it's done. And once you've done the work, you just assume. And that's it, basically, I think. It's just we forget sometimes. So we do all the right things, and then we have fear, which is what I was talking about before. And we just think, oh, it's never going to happen, and I'm stuck, and blah, 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 all the negative things. And that's why I say it's so important to just rid yourself of fear. Fear is your greatest enemy. So you need to just turn a blind eye to fear. It will come to you and try and convince you that it's real and make you doubt, and somehow you have to, what I would do is in those moments, and what I do is I just switch on recordings by Neville Goddard and remind myself what is real, because that is real, even though sometimes it feels like, no, that's the opposite, but that's the reality. And what we've been often brought up to believe is reality is not, it's not all there is to it. It has a certain sense of reality, because It's the manifestation of what we've imagined. It is real, but it's temporary. So we shouldn't attract too much importance to it. So, without further ado, I shall try and talk a bit about objective reality. Relationships. So, thinking mainly, I suppose, about romantic relationships. But it can be any relationships at all. Sometimes we have a poverty mentality. We feel a lack. Maybe we believe we're not worthy of love. And that's simply not true. What we have to do is we have to learn to love ourselves first. And that starts with showing small acts of love towards yourself, small acts of kindness, treating yourself with care and respect, and knowing that you are valuable. Sometimes you can feel, especially at work, when people are so confident sometimes and they're really getting ahead, and you feel, oh, I should be where they are, or something like that, I don't know. You can feel maybe a bit inferior, and you're not inferior. We're all essentially the same. We've all got the spirit of God in us, the spirit of the imagination. So whether you're the president, or you're a homeless person, a king or a queen, or, I don't know, in debt, unemployed, nobody is worth any more than anyone else. But we're all so insecure, we believe that sometimes. So what I'm saying essentially is you have to love yourself, and you have to spend time with yourself, getting to know yourself, to love yourself, just like with any other relationship. Enjoy reading, enjoy meditating, do things, go out by yourself, spend time in nature. That's always really lovely. Just know that you're a worthwhile person. You don't need to be with somebody else to believe that at all. And really, if you go from relationship to relationship all the time, you don't really know who you are. It's more you're afraid of being alone. So the essence is spend time knowing who you are, and then you've got something to give. If you are wanting to have a relationship and you're going out with people and just trying to decide if they are worthy of you or not, don't value a relationship above your self-esteem. If the person is worthy of you, they'll be investing in you. They'll be making some kind of effort to get to know you and treat you with respect. They'll at least be replying to messages, for example. And I know nowadays, as I have experienced as well, many people like to ghost or just not reply straight away, or make the other person chase. And there's so many psychological head games. Just don't get involved in all of that. Just choose somebody who treats you with that, just a basic level of respect is what we're talking about here. If you're arranging to go out, that they get back to you. And they don't have to get back to you immediately, but, within a day or two. If somebody's doing that, they're probably playing games with you, or they're just not interested. So just move on, because it's just not worthy of your time. If you're already in a relationship and you know the person's not really good for you, but it's hard to leave because maybe you think you love them, again, just spend time where you're getting to know yourself, acts of kindness towards yourself, realize that you are worthy of much more than that, and become aware of the small acts of disrespect and maybe the larger acts of disrespect that person is showing towards you. And sooner or later, you will think that's enough, because you'll be feeling more love for yourself. That will be going up, and your tolerance for this person's disrespect will be going down, and you will leave them eventually. So don't worry if you can't do it straight away. Build yourself up, and then you go. Because you have to, really. You have to for your insanity. So just realise that you are your own best friend. You're the only person you can be sure of that you're always going to be with. That's right, isn't it? So if you don't like yourself, you're not in for a very happy life, are you? So, I really like my own company, I have to say. Maybe a bit too much sometimes. I'm the opposite. I need to get out a bit more. But I think it's really important. I love nature. I love photography. I love reading. I love writing. I love all these things that you need to spend time alone to be creative with. But I do really like people. I like being sociable as well. What you really want from a relationship is a true spiritual connection. That's the highest level, I think, anyway. I know it is. I'm sorry, but that one, I know it is. And so once you've dealt with the problems or any problems you have in objective reality, so deal with that on a surface level, then you can move on to imagining what will really satisfy you in a relationship. So if you want a strong spiritual connection, a loving relationship, a meeting of minds, best friends, all the good stuff, everything you can imagine, you've got to imagine the feeling of being loved above all things. And that's a lovely feeling, isn't it? Just living in the feeling of pure love and then carrying it around with you every day. So there's no hardship in that. You can only win by living in that feeling. So imagine the feeling of being loved and understood, feeling secure, a feeling of expansion that comes with spiritual awareness, a feeling of contentment and a feeling of bliss. So you don't need to imagine who you want to be with. In fact, I would say don't do that. The feeling should be enough to bring the right person to you. If you try and choose a person for yourself, you might not choose the right person and you might get them. So be careful what you wish for, as the Chinese say. And it's Chinese New Year as well, so listen to the Chinese. So it's just really imagining being in a relationship that's very happy and assuming that you have that. And then in the meantime, before that comes to you, you are taking care of yourself. Yourself, who is your best friend, loving yourself, being kind to yourself, getting to know yourself. And I cannot overemphasize how important meditation is in that process. Just to be with yourself silently and with contentment and giving yourself that peace. It's a gift of peace. So I hope that's been useful in some way. I've probably said lots of things that are very obvious, but I just think sometimes we need to hear them again and again. So I think I would like to write about certain situations that many of us face in objective reality and how to see them, or ways that we could choose to see them as they're happening to help us deal with these strong emotions. And then when we've done that, how do we move on using the imagination to create what we really want in our lives? So if you think that's something you might be interested in, just let me know in the comments below. And I'm just going to write it anyway because it helps me, as I always say. So I hope you're all happy, and let me know what your thoughts are about relationships and how to manifest good relationships spiritually. Thanks for watching to the end, and thank you for all your comments. Always appreciate them. If you like the clip, please like it. And yeah, just leave me a comment below. Thanks for watching. Bye.